In yesterday's class, we have talked about head command, tail command, grep command, and today we're going to talk about, okay, so another criteria of filtering the output, so which is cut command. And before going with cut command, I just missed telling something yesterday, so I'll just cover that one in grep and then I'll continue with cut and set commands. I'll just quickly copy some of the files and set.sh to 1.scd. Oops. Okay, so what is the one thing I have missed yesterday in telling is a small regular expression. So whenever we go with a file, so assume you have a file, so something like this. So you have a lot of lines in the file. Now there has to be something which is denoting this particular file is starting with, our file is starting here, right? So how do you denote that particular one is by using cap symbol. So every line is starting of the every line is denoted with cap symbol. Now at the same way, end of the line is also denoted with something, so that is dollar symbol. End of each and every line denotes with dollar symbol. Now while we are searching something, you can combine, let's say you want to search something, if you'd like, if that particular word is starting in the line or ending in the line, so you can go with cap and dollar. So usually cap is the starting of the line and dollar is the ending of the line, and if you combine cap with dollar, so that is usually called as empty line. Empty lines are denoted with cap dollar symbol. And also, so every line starts with cap symbol, the first line also starts with cap symbol. So starting of the file is also denoted with cap symbol and ending of the file is also denoted with dollar symbol. So dollar symbol comes as end of the line as well as end of file, and cap symbol comes as starting of the line, each and every line, and also starting of the file. Now you just see an example. Okay, so I'm giving grep root from /etc password. So you're getting all the lines wherever you have root. Let's say my requirement is if I would like to search only the lines which are starting with root, I'll go with this way. Okay, now this is the only criteria it matched. It doesn't even match these criteria, and hence those are not even highlighted. And let's say if you would like to get something which are ending with something, let's say I want to give bash dollar, so I'm going to get all the lines which are ending with bash. Okay, now if you would like to okay, so remove empty lines in a file. So what we usually do is, okay, so grep command, one more option we haven't discussed yesterday. So let's say I am giving head of /etc password to my password file. Okay, I just took the top 10 lines. Now grep root from password file, you are getting the lines which is having a root. If your requirement is to get the lines which is not having a root, so you go with -v option. So these are the lines in that particular file which is not having a word root. Okay, now sorry, vim, and if you open password, let's say if you add some lines, if you add some empty lines to this particular file, now you want to remove the empty lines and you want to grep everything. Okay, so what you can do is cat password, and if you'd like to remove the empty line, so what we do is grep -v. What is the -v option is going to use is, you'll get the other lines which are whatever you are searching. Okay, other lines whichever you are searching. Now I just remove the empty lines by using grep -v. Now you are searching for empty lines, but you are using -v option. Now you are going to get the lines which are not empty. That's all. Okay, so tricky part, little tricky part. That's all, but very simple option, which is -v. So these are the three things which we missed yesterday in grep command, and today we're going to talk about filtering the output. So based on column. So this is how the columns will be, and how do you filter is nothing but by using cut command. Okay, now let's talk about cut command. So cut command is going to filter the output based on columns. Now whenever you go with column, there has to be something which is delimiting between column to column, this column to this column. There has to be something telling, okay, this is one column and this is another column, right? So which we call it as a delimiter. Okay, so delimiter is a one which delimits the column and column, which delimits two columns. Okay, so it can be a comma, it can be a colon, okay, or it can be some other character which delimits each and every column. So if you see here, this password file is also having columns, and each and every column is delimited with colon character. Okay, each and every field or column is delimited with colon character. Now we need to identify the delimiter, and we have to use that particular delimiter while cutting, or if you want to go with the default delimiter, so which is nothing but a tab space. So in cut command, the default delimiter is a tab space. Okay, now and also the another terminology whenever you go with cut command, so we call this as field 1, and we call this as field 2, we call this as field 3, field 4, field 5, and field n. So field 1 to field n, so starting from 1 to n. Okay, so rather than calling column, we can call it as field in cut command. That's all. Okay, now how do you get this particular one? So let me write echo -e. Let's say I'm giving a/t, b/t, c/t, d. So you are getting each and every column, okay, with a tab space, because I am specifically printing tab space by using echo command. Now if I would like to filter the output, I want to get only first field, I'll give F1. If I want to get only second field, I'll give F2. If I want to get third field, I'll give F3, and if I want fourth field, I'll give F4. So assume if you have more lines, I have only a single row. So let's say I'm having 1/t, 2/t, 3, 4. Okay, so if you see here, sorry, I'm just making a 2-row output, that's all. Okay, now if you give cut -f1, so you're getting first column, f2 second column, third column, fourth column. If you want to get only first and fourth columns, it's pretty simple, 1, 4. Okay, if you would like to get a range which is nothing but a 1, 2, 3, you give 1-3. And also, okay, you need to understand here that your cut command is treating each and every field a tab space in between. It is considering the default delimiter is a tab space. Now if you have another tab space, one second. Whenever you have another delimiter which is other than tab space, we don't expect every time a tab space as a delimiter in all the commands whatever we are executing. Okay, so there can be another delimiter also. So in such cases, so I cannot go and okay, so I cannot go straight forward with a tab space. So you can have another delimiter, so something like this. Okay, so you have a colon character. So if you have a custom delimiter, so what we can do is, so you have cat password, so you have 10 lines, or let me remove the empty lines so that it will be easy for you. Now out of these lines, if I would like to get the cut hyphen F1, so you are going to get, okay, so something which is not expected. Why? Because the delimiter between each column and each field and field is, okay, a colon symbol. So how can you specify a custom delimiter by using cut command is by using a hyphen D option. So with hyphen D option, I specifically told cut command to override the default delimiter, which is a tab space. And here I am using a colon character. So using that particular colon character, your cut command can cut the your cut command can cut the output. Okay, so or cut the fields, I can say. So let's say if I give 1 comma 3, I'm going to get like this. I'm getting only 1 and 3. So if I want to get 1 to 3, so I'll give 1 hyphen 3. Okay, if you give 1 hyphen, if you don't specify end range, it is going to print all the fields. Let's say if I give 5 hyphen, so it prints from fifth field to all the fields which are there. Okay, so like this, you can use cut command. You can use cut command, and cut command is also very useful. Okay, cut command is also very useful in cutting characters also. So what is this cutting characters is? So let's say I have something like this. Okay, so hello world, hello world. So out of these characters, I would like to cut the characters from, okay, so 1 to 5. Okay, so I use an option 1 and 1 comma 5. So not 1 comma, it is 1 to 5, right? So you give 1 hyphen 5. So you can cut the character. So this is the beautiful option in cut command. And okay, so usually you filter the fields by using hyphen F option, and you specify a custom delimiter by using hyphen D option. Now let me put you an example where we know now how do you filter the output based on line numbers, based on row based, based on column based, right? Now I have a free command. I have a free command. I'll just use free hyphen m then. Okay. So free hyphen m, I would like to get the free memory. My requirement is to filter the output. So either of the way I'll go, whether I'll go with column based, row based, doesn't matter to me. I need to get the free memory. So how do I get the free memory? So here, okay, so by seeing this particular output, so you can clearly understand this is first column, this is second column, this is third column, and this is fourth column. Okay, you can directly go with cut command. Okay, so immediately you can go with cut hyphen F4. You'll not get anything. Okay, why? Because cut command always looks for a tab space, but there are no tab spaces here. These are individual spaces which are non-uniform, means the spaces are not uniform across field to field. I cannot go with cut command directly. So how can you do that? So there are other ways, but here I cannot directly go with cut command. So I'm going to use grep, and I'm going to search for a word mem. So this line is having memories. So and that line is having a generic word which is mem. So out of this one, I need to get 467. So directly I cannot get it. Okay, you need to use another commands. So there is a difficulty with cut command. You need to understand this. There is a difficulties with cut command. Every time you cannot go with cut command blindly, because it has a lot of issues, like the issues whatever we are seeing right now. And if you see out of this one, even if you see cut hyphen F4, it's still same. You'll not get that particular one. And you don't have a delimiter. Okay, so proper uniform delimiter, you cannot specify space, or you cannot specify even multiple spaces. Okay, so it's going to be a very tricky part. So that's the reason we always prefer to filter the output with awk command. Okay, so rather than going with cut command. So we'll just talk about that one. But before going with this one, before going with our command, we'll talk about another command, which is xargs command. Very important command, xargs. So what is xargs? Xargs is going to work for you in two different ways. Okay, the first one is it is going to convert a column to row and row to columns. If you have an output of single row, you can convert into single column or number of columns. And if you have an output of with a number of columns, you can convert into a row. Okay, so how do you do that? So simple. Let's say I have echo hyphen e 1 slash n 2 slash n 3. So I have 3 rows. If I would like to convert into a column, so I simply give xox. I just okay, I have 3 rows converted into single row, or you put it in another single column has been converted into a single row by using xox command. So what xox command by default it does, it converts columns to rows by default. And if you would like to convert it back to row, okay, so rows again, I mean a single column, so you can always use xox again, but while column if you are going, you have to specify by using an option hyphen n1. So if you use n2, you are going to get 2 columns. Okay, so something like that. So xox command is going to help you in converting rows to columns and columns to rows. Okay, so I'm going to use this particular command in our requirement. So how I am going to use this particular command in our requirement is, okay, so grep mem you are giving, so you are getting non-uniform, okay, spaces. And also you need to understand, while it is converting a single column to a single row, what is the delimiter it is making? It is making a single space as the delimiter. So if I simply give xox even on the single row, doesn't matter for the xox, it will just sort it out, okay, the output, and the delimiter between each and every column is going to be a space now. So in this requirement, now what is the delimiter now? Space. And what is the field? Now the field is 4, so I am going to get the free memory. So this is the free memory I am going to get it. I have on that particular server. This is the free memory. So likewise, so we usually filter the output. So sometimes you may need to take the help of other commands, sometimes you may need to take the help of other commands, but ultimately our requirement has to be, we need to complete that particular job. So whatever the approach you do doesn't matter. Okay, so like this we usually do. So how many commands you are using to sort out the output? You are using grep command, you are using xox command, you are using cut command. So all these 3 commands can be replaced with a single awk command. Okay, so awk command is so powerful data manipulation tool, okay, or data filtering tool we can say. Okay, so it has its very beautiful concept with it, but unfortunately we cannot cover this complete awk command in our shell scripting classes. Why? Because awk itself is a different scripting language altogether. It's a different interpreter. We're talking about bash interpreter in our classes, but we are not going to talk about awk interpreter. So that's the reason I cannot cover each and everything. But yes, I just shown you the difficulties whatever you have in cut command. Those can be addressed with awk command, and one of the internal awk command we're going to talk about is print command. So in bash interpreter, to print something, what is the command we are using is echo command. In awk interpreter, we are going to use a print command to print something on the output screen. Okay, so before going with that, there is another use of xox command. I told you only one thing, it can convert rows to columns and columns to rows, right? So there is another way. Okay, so what is another way is, assume, okay, so I am giving echo err. So err is a file actually, okay, and if I pipe that particular file, I mean output to rm command, so what we are expecting is that err file is has to be removed. But is that file removed? No, the file is not removed. Okay, so what we talked about a pipe symbol, it converts the output of first command as input to the next command. So here echo command output is going to the rm command, but rm command is not at all considering that input. It's not accepting that input. Okay, so what's happening? Why? Because see, for every command doesn't accept standard inputs. Okay, so you need to keep this in mind. All the commands doesn't accept standard inputs. all the commands doesn't accept standard input. So one of the basic command which everyone knows is rm command. Rm command doesn't accept standard inputs. Okay, so and hence rm is unable to remove that particular file. Okay, so even if you write your own script, your script also does not, okay, it does not accept standard inputs, because we are not going to write any code, okay, so to accept the standard inputs. Rather than, what we can do is we can go and take the help of xargs command. So xargs command, what it does is, now you are passing this particular output to xargs command, not the rm command. So what it does is, xargs command, it takes the input from the previous command and it provides that particular input as normal input to this rm command. So now if you do enter and you see ls, you don't see error file, it is now removed. It is now removed. So that is the another way of xargs command. So even in this place of rm command, you can write the script, or you can put the script whatever you have written to accept standard inputs. That's all. To accept standard input. So xargs command is a very important command, so which is going to help you in two different ways. One, in a certain situation like rm command, you take, okay, so in rm command, if you want to pass the input out to rm command through standard input, it will not work. Okay, in such situations, okay, xargs command will take that particular input and provide the input as normal input to the rm command, and hence rm command can remove the remove the files. Okay, this is one thing. And the another thing is, so it can convert a row to a column and column to a row. So we just see in the option. So xargs simply will convert a column to a row, and xargs -n and a particular number, it converts a row to a column. Okay, so based on that, we'll do that. Now the next one we are going to talk about is arc command. So what are the difficulties, whatever we have in cut command are going to be addressed in arc command. So what we can do with arc command? Okay, so how arc command is going to work? The same way. Okay, so arc command is going to be filter the output based on columns, and also it can filter the output based on rows also. Okay, so it can filter the output based on rows, it can filter the output based on columns, and even it can filter the output in both the ways. It can filter the output based on both the ways. Okay, means you can combine rows as well as you can combine columns also. Okay, now whenever you come to the whenever you come to this particular arc command, the terminal just changes again. Okay, so here you have fields, but we are not going to use -f1 f2. Here we are going to use a different thing. So that one is nothing but, which is called as $1. $1 means first field. Okay, $2 means second field. $3 means third field. $4 means fourth field, and so on. Okay, so like that. Okay, sorry. $0, not zero, $1, $2, $3, $4, and so on. So the last field we call it as NF. Okay, nth field. If this is important interview question. Okay, so some people will ask you, how do you get the last field? How can you print the first field and last field if you don't know how many number of fields are there? So if you know the number, that's a different story. But if you don't know the number, how many fields are, but your requirement is to get only the first field and last field. So here NF. And also the command which we are going to talk about in arc command is print command. Okay, so print $0, it is going to it is $1, it is going to print the first field, $2 second field, $3 third field, like that. Now the syntax of arc command is arc, and in single quotes and in flower braces you need to write the print command. So because we are going to talk about only print command, I just wrote directly the print command. So if you give print $1, you are going to get first field and the file name, or it can accept even standard inputs. Just now we have seen what is a standard input. So it is accepting through pipe also. Okay, now you need to understand the very beautiful concept of awk command, delimiter concept. What is a delimiter? Delimiter is the one which limits the field to field. In cut command, the default delimiter is tab space. Now what is the default delimiter in awk command? So first one, it is single space. Okay, so single space is considered as a delimiter. And here comes the beauty. So multiple spaces, it even consider multiple spaces also as a default delimiter, and even it can consider tab space. Okay, so all three together it makes a virtual delimiter and uses that particular delimiter. So means, what is the meaning? What I am trying to tell you over here is, if you have a single space here, if you have a single space here between this field to this field, it accepts. If you have double space in between this field to this field, it accepts. Or else you have a tab space between in this field to the field, it even accepts, and it can give the output. Okay, so let's I'm going to use echo hyphen e, let's say a space b and double space c and slash td. I'll use double tab, okay, just for you to understand. So can you see here, at least the space differences are there. So single space, double space, tab space. Now if you use a command and in flower braces, as we talked about, print $1, you are going to get first one. So first one you are getting, considering a, with a and b there is a small single space. If you use 2 also, single space only, but you come to 3, between b and c there is a double space, still you are getting only c, and between 3 and 4 you have double tab spaces, even if you give, you are getting. So this is the beautiful concept in awk command. Okay, so it can consider multiple delimiters as a single delimiter. It has that capability. Okay, now you go with free command. So you remember free command. So after that, what we have done, grep mem. Okay, and after that, what we have done, awk. So previously we used xawk command. Now I am using awk print $4. I got it. Very simple. Okay, now what I told you, awk command is going to help you in filtering the output in row based also, right? So let's say I want to search a word root and I want to print those lines. Okay, if you simply give print, it is going to print the complete row, and the file is password. So what you have done, grep root from password, whatever you are getting the same thing with awk command also. How do you search in awk command is by using 2 forward slashes. This is same in set and awk command. Okay, in set command also we are going to talk the same syntax. If you would like to search something, so we have to put that particular word in 2 forward slashes, and we have to use that particular one. Okay, now here comes the beautiful part. Okay, so you have a delimiter. Okay, so which is a colon character. So if you want to specify a custom delimiter, so what you have to do is you have to use hyphen f. Hyphen f stands for field separator. Okay, so what is the field separator we have here? We have colon character, and if I give print $1, you got it, right? And if you give first field and last field, how you give first field and last field is comma $nf. So you're getting first field and last field. Okay, now here comes the thing. So you can combine both the things. So what you can combine, you can search for a word root, and if word root is there, then only get the columns, placing a condition. So two conditions. Okay, you're searching for a word root. If the word root is there, then you go and get the first column. So that is what the syntax is telling you. Now you go to the free command, free hyphen m. So what we are searching, we are searching for a word mem, right? And after that print $4. That's all. You got the value. Okay, you got the value. Uday, you may say something. Okay, I have .log file in that hello world and hi. I have .log file in that file hello world and hi ho print. What is that? I didn't understood that. What you are saying? I have .log file in that how to print. Okay, in how to print those words. So if you are having var log messages, let's say Taylor, sorry, cat slash var log mail log, let's say permission denied. Which files you are having permission? Okay, let's say I have a cron file. Okay, so cat cron file. Oh, cat var log cron. So out of this particular file, assume this particular file, okay, having something like hello world or something, okay, whatever you want. How do you do that? It's a simple, right? So grep command. I want to search for a word root. Let's say I will go with grep root from slash var log cron. So it can be a .log file also. That's what. If you want a hello world, you can search for grep hello world from that particular file. Is that you're asking, or it is anything else? Members who has joined. Oh. That words means I didn't understood. Like you need to put the requirement little clearly. If you can put the question clearly, or else you drop me an email. Okay, so thinking whatever you what you are thinking, I can reply you. Okay, great. So that is about awk command, and how that is how you filter the output by using awk command. So which we are using row based filtering, and we are using column based filtering, and we are getting it. Okay, so that's fine. So I'll stop it here and we'll continue tomorrow. So tomorrow's class is a really important class which we are going to talk about sed command. Okay, so sed command is very important